Hi, I'm Joe. Thanks for joining me today. I'm going to show you real quick how to fix screw holes and nail holes on your walls. Here's the proper way to take care of these holes. You see how they stick out, right? You don't want that. And what I see at a lot of homes is that somebody didn't properly prep this. They just smeared a little piece over it. They sand, smooth, whatever they try to do, and they paint over it, and you can see this ring around it that's raised because you're trying to float out something like that instead of making it flat. You gotta raise the center point, and you can see it. So it's really easy. All you gotta do is you get your knife. Doesn't matter the length. You're using the end. You want to make sure there's a metal end. It's easier, and you just stick it in there. Just the corner, and just do that, and it flattens it out. So then now there's a divot. Now they're all flat and indented, so you can put mud inside and then smooth it nice and flat. Really, really easy. Sometimes if there's a lot of big chunks sticking down, I'll try to just scrape that off. It's a little bit bigger of a hole, but at least it's indented. You can put mud inside it and you can flatten it out instead of having this raised surface. And again, this is good for nail holes, screw holes, anything you've got in the wall. You've hung something and you've removed it and you decided, I want this to be smoothed out again. You gotta do this. Otherwise it's going to be completely noticeable. Sometimes you just kind of scrape off that excess paper. So that's it, super easy. So now that these holes have been properly prepped, you get your knife. Now, this is the inside of a garage, and I'm gonna be resurfacing, retexturing it anyway. So what I'm about to say isn't that big of a deal. But if you're inside your house, remember, if you use a knife that's a lot bigger than the actual surface area, you don't have to spread the entire length of this putty knife with mud, because remember, whatever you spread it, you're gonna have to then sand that out. And if you're doing this on, say, an orange peel texture, that can look really sloppy if you don't sand it well. So all you gotta do is just get enough, so you can cover the hole, right? And then scrape it. Push it in there and then scrape it off. It's nice and flush, right? Just like that. Bob Ross would be proud. Let's get a little bit more. Now we gotta fill in this a little bit more in there. So just stick it in there, scrape it clean. And that's it. Now that you've got your first coat on, you're gonna need to do a second one. So typically with that kind of mud that you put on, it's gonna need some dry time. Come back either the next day or later that evening, depending on how early you did it in the day, and make sure it's dry. You can do one of two things. You can take your knife and you can scrape the top off. It'll either have indented, if it's a bigger hole, that kind of mud shrinks, which is why you're gonna need to do a second coat. So if it's a bigger hole, it'll have shrunk, like kind of sucked into the wall. And if it's a smaller hole, you might even see that it is sticking out from the wall a little bit. In that case, take your knife. You can either scrape it off nice and easy, or you can take a sander and sand it down. But you'll most likely want to do a second coat. So put a nice small coat over it, let it dry, and then sand it nice and smooth and flush with the rest of the wall. And then that's it, you're done. It's ready to be primed and painted. Thanks for joining me today. Please subscribe below and support the channel. I'll be putting out a lot more videos to show you how to do drywall projects correctly. Thank you.